15 years.
Such a good feeling.
Oh, I'm just like, I'm so classy. It's so great. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Hi, this is Jordan Hill with Dirt to Sky Business Podcast, and I would like to thank SMI Real Estate and Compass Visuals for sponsoring this episode. I am so excited to be here with you guys both today. How
Thank
are
you.
you?
Good.
Good.
Excited to be here.
Yes. Our first, me interviewing two people on this show, so thank you for being here for that.
Yes.
Yeah, my guinea pigs. Well, awesome. Well, thank you for being here. If you guys could just share a little bit about who you are and your businesses, and then we can kind of dive in on how you guys are doing all of the things.
Andrew, go first.
Yeah, so I'm Andrew McCourry, and we co-own ABC Window Cleaning. We bought it about 2 years ago, and it's just really an exterior cleaning service company, and we specialize in windows. So,
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm Jordan McCourry, and Andrew and I own La Lumiere Massage. It's a spa. We have about a dozen therapists at any given time, and we have owned that for 3 years now.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, thank you guys for being here. I have a lot of questions because you are married and you have two very different businesses.
Yes.
And so that's kind of mind blowing because it is, my husband and I are married and have one business. And that is very challenging. So first of all, I have a lot to learn for you guys. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So first of all, your parents, you have two kids, right?
Two
So
kids.
you are.
We had them 2 under 2.
Oh my gosh. So just for context for the listeners, you guys have so much to juggle. And so if you are able to have two thriving businesses with just a lot to juggle personally and being married, like we have notes to take. So awesome. Okay, great. So tell me the story of when you started, or did you say you bought ABC Windows? Okay. How did that all come about?
So I would say we should probably start with the spa because
yes,
that's the one we bought first.
Thank you.
So we had found out that we were having our first child. The next day, the opportunity to purchase the spa arose, and we had been thinking about it for a while. We'd been thinking about obtaining a business one way or another, buying or starting. And the most recent opportunity had kind of dissipated. And so we were in a place of trying to figure out what was next. And we found out we were pregnant. And then that opportunity presented itself. And we thought, why not? We'll just go for it.
Oh my gosh.
Well, and I want to add, Jordan has always wanted to own a spa.
Yeah.
And so she became a massage therapist and worked there for 2 years. And then it was just kind of like a godsend. Just kind of falling on our lap. So
oh my gosh.
it was perfect.
So you'd been a massage therapist for 2 years before
that
point.
I think it was 2.5 years at that point. I had been practicing massage there actually. And so it was just perfect.
And you just knew, for me. Yeah. And you just knew you wanted more than just to work for somebody else.
Yeah, it actually had started. I wanted to be a massage therapist as a kid, as like 7, 8, 9 years old. I'd massage my family. I'd lay them out on the coffee table and I would rub their shoulders.
That is so sweet. Yeah.
So I kind of took the long route to get there, but eventually I went to massage school, got my license. But at that point, I was already working in a surgery center as a business office manager. Simultaneously, I decided to get my bachelor's degree in healthcare administration. So I did an adult degree program, sped through that, finished that, and then ended up buying the spa. Nobody cares about my degree now.
Oh my gosh. But those are things that make us stronger and give us skills, and something, good comes out of anything really. So yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah. And so and what were you doing at this time? Were you involved with the spa as well, or?
So we actually worked at the same surgery center.
Okay.
I worked on the administration side. Well, I guess we both did, but there was a child company, I guess, that came out of the place that we were working at, and I was working from home, and that was we found out we were pregnant. The plan was to buy the spa, and then I was going to be at home and be able to help with the baby when it came and that kind of stuff. And then along came ABC, and we actually said no the first time we were approached about it because we had just bought the spa and we were about to have a baby. Yeah. And then they approached us again, and we said, okay, if this is going to happen, it's going to be a God thing, because we had spent money on purchasing another company. Yeah. And it just was, in order for things to line up, it wasn't going to be out of our own will or our own wants, even though we both wanted to be people who were business owners. I guess we already were, but we wanted to be free from the corporate America. And so took a chance, finally said yes to ABC. When I worked, I had never cleaned a window in my life, but I worked for them for about 4 months, and it was supposed to be 6 months, and then we just made it shorter. And so 4 months into it, we took ownership, and then that was kind of where all the fun started. So
oh my gosh. Wow. I think that's so neat that you guys, well, now you did have a past of, being the massage therapist and everything, but just that you had never cleaned a window in your life. I mean, maybe a few at home, but I've heard that from several business owners lately. Like, I knew I wanted it. I hadn't done it before, but if you want it bad enough and you're determined to do the work, you can achieve it. And so I think that's really neat.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of my MO is I know what I want, and I kind of go after it. My beautiful wife is the crowning jewel of all that stuff. But anyway, so it was just like I didn't know what I was doing, but I call myself a graduate of the College of YouTube, because that's where I learned how to wash windows and do all the other exterior services that we provide. And it's just been a crazy ride for 2 years. Good stuff. Yeah.
Now, how does it work with, as far as the two businesses? Are you both involved in both of them? And if so, what roles do you play?
I would say, so I would call myself the operations manager at ABC. I run all the day-to-day. Jordan does all of the back-end administrative stuff for both of the businesses. And then she does massage at our spa as well. I call myself a silent owner in the spa, because I go fix a light bulb if I need to every once in a while, but I really don't do anything there.
Yep.
Yeah, like Andrew said, I'm 100% the operations and administration of Lemire, and then I'm 100% the back end, and Andrew's 100% the front end of the operations. So,
yeah. Wow. So what has been a challenge as you have navigated through, these two businesses and maintaining a marriage? What have been some challenges with that? And and if and also, something that you've learned or something that you've figured out, throughout that.
So one business is a lot of work. Two businesses is more work. And then 2 children on top of 2 businesses is like a world of work. And so I would say the biggest struggle, which I feel like we've stayed on top of it pretty well, but it's limiting work conversations. It's so hard when you live and breathe your businesses, and with the amount of time we do spend quite a bit of time together talking about operating our businesses and doing all of that, but then we have our personal when we're all home, it's evening time or it's a weekend. Limiting those business conversations is very hard, but it's something that we regularly check in with. I would say communication is what we have learned is the most important, not only in marriage, but just in business operations with your partner, like your business partner or your marriage and business partner. Being able to communicate, like, I can't touch that topic right now. We got to put a pin in that and talk about that on Monday or 8 a.m. on Monday. That kind of a thing. I would say that's probably been our biggest key to a successful balance of both sides of the responsibilities that we share. Yeah. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I would definitely echo the communication side of things, but then again, the boundaries as far as like when we talk about business stuff and when we don't, and the communication is the most important of those two, because we can sit and talk about business all day, every day until we're blue in the face. But me being able to have the ability to say, hey, Jordan, I can't talk about this right now. I have got too many other things going on in my mind, in my brain, and I cannot. We've got to talk about that some other time. We also have made a conscious decision to, like, carve out time throughout our week to have, like, we call it a business meeting, but and that's what it is. We go sit at a coffee shop, or we go. A lot of times we have actually done it at the courthouse fitness center.
Yeah. Hey.
Free childcare, so it's anyway.
Absolutely.
But those are the times we make notes if we need to, and that's kind of when we say, hey, we're going to talk about these hard topics that we need to, or these hard decisions that we need to make. That let's pin it for those times that we've set aside to do that. So
Yeah. Yeah. What have you found to be helpful when you are in the like for your businesses, you are not agreeing on something? And how does that not carry on? Not to bring this to marriage counseling, but how have you found anything to keep that there and not transfer over?
Man, it definitely has been a struggle for me. I'm a very no nonsense, get to the point. Even with ABC, I'm trying to run things as efficient as I can. We're a service industry, and so that's just how my brain has to operate. And so I really, it's just me making the conscious decision that when Jordan and I are at home and we're putting work aside, to like turn that side of my brain off of like, okay, I need to still be loving to my wife, and I still need to be caring to my kids, and a good example of what it means to be a father and just a human being in general. I don't know anything to add.
That's great.
Yeah, I think when we have disagreements as to how we're going to move forward in something in the businesses, sometimes it takes a pause in the conversation and say, well, let's talk about it another time, because most of the time the disagreements happen during a stressful time that it's like an external source besides that conversation and that topic. And so we will circle back to that when we're feeling maybe we got some food in our stomach or
exactly.
a drink,
yeah.
better mood about it.
Yeah.
And so then usually we can come to a conclusion. So I would say that's something, is just deciding to come back to it at a better time when you can really finish it and at least agree. If you can't agree on it, you can make a decision on how you're going to move forward.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would say that business decisions usually come down to what is going to be the most effective, or what's going to be best for the business. And we really do try to take personal emotions out of it, just because it is a business. We can't always operate. I mean, sometimes we do, but it's really not effective to just run on emotions or make decisions based out of emotions. And so, like Jordan was saying, taking that pause and saying, okay, let's come back to this, let's get some food, whatever it might be, and really trying to just take, okay, what's going to be the best for the business at this point. So
I think that dynamic is very different and unique from business couple to business couple, because I know some people that are in business together, they're like, okay, when I'm at the office, or when we're at the office together, my spouse, like, I'm like, okay, you're the boss, and that's the dynamic. But Andrew and I are so partnered in everything, like equally operationally, that it's just, it all flows together. Like, so it might be to a fault, but like our marriage and our business relationship, it ebbs and flows together. There's almost no separation. So we have to like bring that level of love and respect to each other in those business conversations that we do in our personal or family topics. So that's just how we do it. But I know a lot of people don't do it that way. They have a little bit more of a boundary, different, a line where they're like, okay, this is our relationship in the office, and this is our relationship at home. But for us, it is one and the same.
Yeah. Well, I think, and whether it's, the way that you guys do it, or, the way somebody else does it, having the communication and just preset those expectations and boundaries and needs is, you need that anywhere. So kudos to you guys for finding that. And even though it's kind of one of those, just speaking from experience, you kind of have to choose it every day. Like, okay,
every day.
but that's really amazing. And that's really tough to figure out and do. But which leads me to my next question: what have been some of the the rewards or things that have been amazing that have come out of it that maybe you didn't expect?
Oh, I'm gonna start. I don't know. Like we kind of talked about this before we started recording, but like this is not ever where I thought that I would be.
Right.
And so just being able to do this life the way that we're doing it is the reward for me. Really the biggest reward, because we get to spend time with our kids on a regular basis, and they don't have to like we're not to school age yet, but we're talking about
Mhm.
school, and it's it's not like we have options. It's not just ship the kids to public
Right.
school. We
Yeah.
can look at homeschooling, or we can look at
Mhm.
private school, or whatever it might be. Like I don't. So for me, the
Yeah.
biggest reward of all of this is just being able to do the life the way that we're doing it.
Right.
When we were in corporate settings, it was I mean, it's still hard now, and it still sucks
Mhm.
sometimes, but
Mhm.
I really truly wouldn't have any other way. I hate sitting behind a desk. I
Mhm.
hate being just a cog in someone else's machine. We
Mhm.
really wanted to make our own way, and build a future that we want for not just us, but our family and beyond. And so that's like the biggest reward, I guess, for me.
Mhm. Yeah.
I would
Love
say
that.
family is the number one. Being able to have our family structure the way that we want it, the way that we do with spending time. Even, I mean, granted, when you're a business owner, sure, you do get more family time, but you're
Mhm.
emailing, you're taking calls,
Yeah.
but just the mere ability to be around your kids more
Mm.
and have them see you and you see them, like there's so much reward in that. And that was what I grew up in, because I am a third generation married business partner, business owner. And so my parents had businesses, and that's how I grew up with my siblings.
Mhm.
And I was homeschooled. So we spent a lot of time together as a family. And I
Uh-huh.
like that. And so that's kind of what we're bringing into, how we want to spend our time with
Yeah.
our kids.
Yeah.
So family is definitely the number one. And it's definitely our motivator when we're facing difficult business decisions. It's thinking about I'm going to take care of my kids. We're building this for our
Mhm.
family and for our community too. I mean, it's not
Right.
just about our circle, but what got Andrew and I into business ownership, one of the big things is that we were both working for a corporation, and
Mhm.
there was a good stint of time that I worked for them, and it was great, and that he worked for them, but it was time for us to step out on our own. We had just experienced some things through the pandemic that was really rough, that kind of did not align with our personal whatever belief,
Mhm.
more,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
so our priority in stepping into business ownership was to take care of people. We wanted to take care of employees and take care of our community in the ways that we could. And so the spa was a great avenue for that, to
Mhm.
take care of the employees that work there. And then as massage therapists, we get to take care of the members of our community by providing excellent massage care,
Mhm.
and therapy in that way. And so that was a huge motivator, and
Yeah.
super bonus for us. Just yeah, that was a
Mhm.
huge surprise.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's so great that and you can I did like that you said you can build your life the way that you want it,
Mhm.
and you can the things that were important to you that maybe when you were a kid you didn't realize how
Yeah.
important they would be to you,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
now you can look back and go, man, I want that for my kids.
Yeah.
And that's really and the I heard a quote, and this is what actually kicked me out of I quit corporate and started my own
Mhm.
business, was something along the lines of, if you don't build your own dream, then someone else is going to pay you to build theirs.
Yes.
That was like, nope,
No,
nope.
thank you.
So I definitely relate to that. And it's like, yeah, so that's really amazing and inspiring. And hopefully somebody's listening and they're on the edge and they're, have the goal of running their own business or owning their own business, that if those three can do it, I can do it. So
Yeah. Yes.
yeah.
I would say do it. And
Uh-huh.
like talking to the viewers, I'm always in favor of people going out on their own and starting their own thing, or even if it looks like buying a business, just
Mhm.
take the step, take the leap. It's gonna be hard, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be so worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I was going to ask you guys if you have found any resources or helpful tools as a married couple in business. Definitely not asking for a friend because there are so many wonderful business books. Of course, on the personal side, there are marriage, counselor tools, books, everything. So was there anything helpful that helped you as you learned how to navigate business while being married? If they don't exist, then there you go. That's a great market
I
for
don't think they
you to create
exist.
one, but
Yes, the answer does not exist yet.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say that there's anything specific. We
Uh-huh.
we just, and maybe for me it's my upbringing. That was the biggest thing,
Yeah.
as and motivator and teacher to be doing the things that we are doing, and even being married. Like my mom and my stepdad, they both have had 3 marriages, and so it was super important to me to only do it once, and do it not the right way or the right, whatever, but like I'm in this with Jordan for the rest of my life. And there's not going to be anyone else, and I've made that conscious decision because of my upbringing in my past. And so I guess for me it's just been the biggest learning resource for us, or for me, is just my upbringing, I guess. There isn't the books and stuff. I mean, you can read books all day, but at the end of the day, it's, we've got to kind of make our own decisions and learn from what we're doing wrong or what we're doing right, and how do we do, that kind of stuff.
So just to be very clear on, you what you believe, what your goals are, what are non-negotiables for you, just having that clarity.
Yeah, that kind of speaks to how integrated our marriage and our business life is that like the marriage is the business, and the business is the marriage. And we take care of it.
Exactly.
And so any kind of like marriage resources that we have found, we do read some things that are family centered and like marriage focused, and that helps. So that has probably been what has supported our professional relationship as well.
Right.
Always comes down to love and respect.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. I would love to hear just maybe about a specific, experience or story about a time where you were up against a wall, or you weren't sure what to do, and kind of how you overcame that.
We've got a great example in each business, actually.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
Right after taking over the spa, I was trying to recruit and get as many therapists as possible going at the spa. And I was having a really hard time procuring people. I had raised wages immediately when I took over. So I knew I was like above market level in what I was offering. And so even at that, it was just hard to find people. And so there was some months when we were like, what is gonna happen? We need people. Like, we have to have people working here. And it's difficult because it's not like, you can just go hire, more servers, more hostesses. Like we're talking people who have licenses and education that you have to find that live in this area. And coming out of the pandemic, it was kind of hard to find people like that. They'd either retired or decided they didn't want to do that anymore. And there was not a lot of interest for people going to school. So there's no new graduates, like that kind of stuff. And so it was really hard. But I mean, we just we hoped, we prayed, we believed that we didn't, this spa didn't come, into our possession for no reason. Our faith is a huge part of why we literally do anything that we do. And so we held on, and sure enough, over time it grew, and our retention rate was super high. The only time that many people have left is because they've literally moved out of the valley, moved out of the state, moved out of the country. And so that was a huge, that was just how it turned out.
Wow.
It's just praying.
That would be,
and then Andrew has ABC stories.
And just to touch on the spa first, but like Jordan said, our faith is literally the reason that we do everything that we do is because of our faith. And so there were many nights, many days that we would sit in an office somewhere or in our bedroom, just praying for one another or praying for the businesses or whatever it might be, just because we knew that, one, this isn't something that we're going to be able to do on our own, and we believe God brought us to these things, or he brought them to us, however you want to say it. And so it was going to be ultimately him bringing us what we were needing. And it's similar with ABC. When we bought the business, I think we had 3 or 4 people on the janitorial team. So we do commercial janitorial as well, but that's apart from the exterior service. And then on the exterior crew, we had between 7 and 8 people, I think it was. And it was just people that we inherited as we bought the business, and we made sure everyone knew that we were keeping everyone. We're not going to let anybody go. And Jordan and I kind of made the decision to kind of see how things played out the first year, and see where we could start making some changes or do things differently, or maybe we had a different idea or whatever. And this last year, so after the year mark, it's been 2 years now, but after the year mark, things got really, really bad. We lost our crew lead on the exterior side, and then just throughout the year, we were losing people left and right. And then we were just having differences in how we wanted to run the business, and how people were, our employees were just kind of not adopting those. And so it came to a point where we just said, okay, we kind of maybe have to break this whole thing down and rebuild it the way we wanted to. It's not what we planned for. It's not what we bought when we bought the business, but this is just the direction that we need to go. And so that really making that decision was super, super hard. And we, again, in my office, in our home, wherever we might be, we're just praying that, like, this is gonna work out, and we may not know how it's gonna work out, but it's gonna work out. And so we're kind of on the other side of that now. I have had to step back into the field, so I'm actually doing a lot of the work now. I have one other employee on the exterior side, but as soon as we were able to kind of break things down and start rebuilding, one, the business has been doing better, but two, Jordan and I have felt a weight of stress just kind of lift off of our shoulders. And so I guess I don't know if that answered the question or not, but those were really, owning a business is a tough time. And that's not to like deter people from owning a business, but it's just a lot of work, and sometimes things don't work out the way you want them to, and you just have to buckle down and know that, like, at least for us, like we said, our faith is the most important thing, and where we draw our strength and our wisdom. Anything is from our faith. And so that's what we tap into when we're going through rough times, and we both have to remind each other of that on a daily basis.
Yeah. When you're going through those moments and those times, are there things that help you as far as like supporting each other or being there for each other, anything like that?
Yeah, I think, at least for me, I can kind of get stuck in my own head and just go down this like spiral of like doomsday type scenarios of, this one little thing happened, but this one little thing happening means that the entire business is going to crumble, right? And Jordan does a phenomenal job of really bringing me out of that. And it's not something that we, like, again, we've been married for less than 5 years, and so it's not something that we knew to do at the beginning, or even still. Like, we have to remind each other of, like, hey, Jordan, like, even like, this is after the whatever has been going on is going on, but me reminding Jordan, like, hey, this is what I need in these moments when I'm struggling, or when I'm not doing well, and when I'm not like, when I'm in my doomsday spirals. This is what I need from you. And she does the same for me. I don't know, we just try to point each other towards what we know, and what, like I said, where we draw our strengths from, and that's kind of how we handle things.
Man, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I would say definitely this last year in ABC is death by 1,000 paper cuts. And so when he speaks of this doomsday mindset, I mean, there's good reason, because you can only, as humans, we can only handle so many little things going wrong, and until it's like, oh my gosh, I can't do this one more day. If I get one more person calling out, I'm quitting. No, it's like that can happen. There's just like these little things, they just mount up, and then you've got a mountain of discouragement. And that's been our part of what we've had to learn for each other, is recognizing what discouragement looks like in each other, and just speaking to that. And so I do spend a lot of time reminding Andrew of all the things that are going right, and all the things that are coming, like, that we get to look forward to, and that helps kind of divert off from the small things that keep popping up.
Yeah. And you said you've been married less than 5 years, so if you could go back, but those 5 years, and tell you two that are about to get married, and that you will own multiple businesses, what's some advice that you would have for yourself, or something that you could tell yourself, start doing this, start learning this, anything like that?
For me, I think I would have said just to be open to learning constantly. I think about this concept of, would it have helped me to see the future, to kind of see what's coming? And no, for me, the things that we have done, like owning businesses, is hard. It is so hard. And I would say that even purchasing businesses is a special kind of hard. It's different, because you're not only, you basically kind of have to build the company from the ground up in a way, because
Yeah.
you're building your version of the company from the ground up. But it's hard. And I'm glad I didn't know that this is what we were going to do. But because twice, it's like not once, but twice. And so I'm glad I didn't know. But what I would have told myself is just to be ready for anything. And that's kind of how Andrew and I operate on a daily basis, is really just our hands are open. We're just like, what's next? And we take one day at a time. And so I would encourage myself then to just make sure that is my mindset, is one day at a time. And that's what I would encourage other people to do, is one day at a time. Have your 5-year plan, but be flexible, like really flexible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably say patience to my self 5 years ago. I still don't have any patience, but I'm knowing now that I need to learn, and like
we're working towards it.
I'm working towards it. So if I could start that 5 years sooner or 5 years earlier, then that would be probably what I say. But yeah, like, I don't know, this whole thing is just crazy. And so there's not like, I don't, not to like deflect the question, but I don't like regret. And so trying to think back and say, oh, what would I, it's just a hard question for me, because I'm like, a lot of the things that we're doing or that we have done have shaped us to where we are now.
Right.
And so it's hard to say, okay, well, would it be better if I learned to do this sooner? Or would it be better if I learned to do this at a different time? And I'm just a firm believer in, like, I am who I am because of what I've done in the past, and those 5 years we have done so much, but we also have learned tons and tons and tons more, and I wouldn't trade that for the world. So I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's very true. And like, I don't remember who said it to me recently, but it was somebody that said, think about your greatest trait, something that you are very good at or are strong in, anything like that. Trace that back to where that came from. It never came from something sunshine and rainbows. It came from something very difficult. And so, like, even, your story with, strong lifelong marriages just were not a thing from for generations. And so even though that was very painful for many, look what it's done now. It's created a wonderful marriage and businesses that will thrive. And so it's just kind of interesting to think about.
Yeah, for sure.
I will say, when Andrew and I got married, neither of us thought that we would be owning businesses together. We are working together. Like, I had always had it in my mind that I would own a business, but never had considered owning a business with my spouse. And so I remember the day an opportunity arose to purchase a business or discuss purchasing a business with someone. And we sat out there in the backyard, and I was like, Andrew, what do you think about buying a business together? And he's like, well, maybe. And so that was kind of the beginning. But like I said, at the very beginning, we would not have thought that we could work together.
Yeah.
What got us kind of warmed up to that idea in the first place was that we both worked in proximity to each other for the same company. Our paths would cross once in a while, but we didn't work like together or for each other. But working in proximity to each other, we're like, wow, we could do the day-to-day, business with each other. And that's kind of what got us onto the, wow, we could do this together kind of thing.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, you guys are, thank you for being so just open and honest. I have a lot of admiration for you guys. Like, you guys are definitely like a power couple. Oh my gosh, running 2 businesses together. It's like, with all that you guys have and are going through, like, you guys could do anything. So that's really amazing. So
thank you.
It was really fun having you guys on here and getting to know you, and everybody listening, find their social media pages and see what they're doing and what they're up to. For those local, of course, can reach out to you directly, but those that are not local can be inspired by you and follow you guys and know that they're not alone. And I think that that's really, really amazing. So well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Jordan.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you to SMI Real Estate and Compass Visuals for sponsoring this episode. That is just